Okay, I believe we are live. We should be. There is music today. Welcome again, and we this goes into Safari, so it doesn't mess with my tab. But I still will be able to see comments. Okay, and what we need is okay, let me post what we're going to do. Okay. Let me make music. I always want to make music quieter. So I like the sound of my voice apparently. But I can make it harder on stream. I think it's okay on stream, right? So this is my mic, right? It should be say this. And music can be default as well, I think. Okay, let me know anyways in the comments if it's too loud, it's too quiet, whatever. And what we are going to do, everything is set up. What we are going to do is continue developing Sublime Clojure REPL. What we did last time, actually did something more. Yes, more development yesterday. So I got multiple annotations. I got clear annotations. I get pending evaluation annotation, blah blah blah. I also change the way status is communicated, so it's now uses this moon icon. Let me change font size back to where it was. So we have REPL here. We probably want an REPL here. Okay, and let's open this, connect. So pay attention to bottom left corner. You will see like little animation here. Yeah, it's too quick. But the thing that I did is now there are multiple steps for preparing the connection. As you remember, we had to upload the file with middleware code, and we had to issue another command that installs this middleware, right? So this is like done as different stages. So like you see, when we connect, we start the thread, and this thread starts this function, and this function sends clone command first, which clones session, and after that it just starts reading, right? And what it does is, I can actually do it like just like that. Okay, and what it does is it goes in here, and here we have like general, like we are parsing responses, right? And general response parsing is this, and we have special response parsing which is this, and we, as you can see, we utilize like special messages IDs, and the first one was to clone the session has ID of 1. So we're doing that. And basically once we get the new session, we remember the session, we send second message, and we wait for second message. Once the second message arrives, we issue third one and update status on each stage. So if it takes more time, you would see like this animation. That's all we do. And there are things that we changed really, and let me put fix me in here. So this shouldn't happen like when we deploy plugins, so I better don't forget. So what we have here is, you can see, we can evaluate multiple things at once now, like this, and then we have delayed evaluation. So this one would sleep thread for 1 second and then issue done. So pay attention what happens here. You see there's ... and then it gets changed to done, right? So like if some evaluation takes a long time, you will get a response. So yeah, and this is pretty sweet, I think. Infinite range, print, send here, so nothing new, with exceptions. I hope this still work, as they appear to be working. Resolve symbol hopefully works, malformed hopefully works, yeah, so most of it works. And I have a command to like disconnect eval selection, clear evaluation results. You just clears all this, so you can have multiple things and you can clear them, right? I was torn whether I should, like, maybe I should just keep one thing so I don't have to manually clear, or only the last evaluation and clear the rest, right? It would probably be simpler, but I think there is use cases when this is helpful. Like you evaluate something like response from some API and you can see it here, and you start writing code based on that, and yeah, you probably want to stick around. It probably will be an option in the future implementation. Okay, so yeah, what we have for interrupt evaluation, evaluate top level format recursor, evaluate file, and actually what I didn't do yet is identify namespace of a file. Okay, and so what is this? It is actually pretty interesting, and let me show you. I mean, and say we have namespace test, just test, right? Or we can get Sublime Clojure REPL the test, and we have some requires. And for example, we require Clojure string as str. Perfectly normal, right? It even evaluates correctly, I think. So what happens is so first one we need to do this, and it actually kind of does the right thing. Oh, interesting. Okay, let me evaluate this. Yeah, okay, so it works. Okay, so the thing that is why this is important, let me, so yeah, okay. I'm blushing. So the trick here is the Clojure forms are usually not self-sufficient, right? Usually when you write a form like this, for example, it is in the context of the current namespace. Usually one file is one namespace, right? Like this one. So, and namespace definition on the top, but it's not like in any way directly connected to this. But you have to take it into account because like requires, for example, right? So if I would do, so let's disconnect actually, and let's connect again and try this. You see, we are in namespace user. This is the default namespace which all REPLs gets connected to. And if I try to evaluate this, for example, I get runtime exception, no such namespace str, which is fair enough, right? So because we only sent this form and we didn't tell in which namespace we wanted to like be evaluated, it doesn't know. And maybe actually find, I don't know if this exists. no, this is not doing what I'm expected to do. So they find the national space name by the symbol or nil if it doesn't exist. What the fuck? Why is it? No, this is something. It actually returns two namespaces. What? The fuck? Wait, what? No, now it returns only one. Huh. Maybe it was like... Wait. Disconnect? No, I don't know what it was about. Okay, but anyway, so you see right now we are in user namespace, so this kind of doesn't work because it doesn't know what the stair stands for, right? And for this to work, it has to be in this namespace. The other thing that is different, right? So if you want to define a function, you expect it to be defined in this namespace, not in user namespace. So like, say we do this and you see the result is user/fun, which is not what we want. We want this one. And I think there is a special argument in NREPL to send, which we are going to just check. There's a val, and I believe somewhere in here there is, yeah, the namespace in which to perform the evaluation. Its supplied namespace must exist already, be included. If no namespace is specified, the evaluation falls back to NS for the session you question. Yeah, so you have to provide the namespace to the unREPL, right? And to do that, you have to parse a file and figure out this symbol, which is pretty hard thing to do, and this is unfortunate. So we'll be figuring out a way to deal with that, but we'll probably start with interruptions because they're faster to do. Okay, good question. Hello, I am doing great. How are you doing? Have you heard which has a new category for software and game development? Really? Okay, let's see if it has it. It would be software. Oh, it does, right? Let me show you. There is it used to be, I believe it used to be science, right? Science and technology. Software game development. Yay! Thank you, C-Films. Thank you for this very useful information. Now I have what I have. What I have. I have proper category, and yeah, thank you for that, because like most of my streams are about that strictly, so I'll probably never change it again. But yeah, that's very good. No, thanks. Okay, so this is what like the hard problem to solve for today, but we also have an easy problem. Easy problem is interrupt evaluation, and what we probably want is interrupt evaluation. Okay, we probably need a command for that. Clear evals, yeah, something like that. Interrupt eval command, okay. So what we need for that is, so basically the idea is you have something like this, which executes in a second, and you want early exit from it. And we have just the command for that. There is interrupt. So again, NREPL is pretty useful here. Like, yeah, it has this already implemented, so pretty cool. And yeah, you know what? We probably also want something like this: send file and position with eval. File name and position is also like as you noticed here in eval, you can actually send file, you can send line, and you send column, right? And I believe this information will be used if the code is incorrect. Clojure will report back to you with this information, so this would also be good to have, like, so you have like correct line offsets and stuff like that. The question is, do Python and Clojure work well together? Well, I don't know. They don't really work together. Probably not. Like, so for example, what I'm just trying to say is, for example, if I want to parse this thing here, right, it would be, and figure out which namespace is, what's the name of the namespace. It would be pretty easy to do in Clojure, but probably pretty hard to do in Python. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see it. But what we probably need is some sort of Clojure parser in here. Okay, that is unfortunate. And the hard part, of course, like this could be parsed with regular expression, but the hard part is something like and then something like that. Something like author. Right, so let me just find something like this. The C, so for example, Clojure Core has this. Let's find like really bad example. I think we, okay, let me see. They're not really that bad, right? And but the hard part is, like, once you arrive at a symbol, there's nothing telling you it's a symbol. So there's lots of, and it can have, like, I don't know, nested vectors with symbols, maybe, stuff like that. It's pretty crazy, right? And maybe regexps. So we kind of need a Clojure parser, really. Clojure source symbol. Wait, what? Entity name Clojure. Yeah, one thing we can do is we can rely on syntax highlighting. This is what Tutcane does, right? And you can see it is highlighted because when I was writing like syntax highlighting, I take effort to do this properly. We kind of want, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is even worse, right? So like we have some extra stuff before, like comments and stuff. Okay, so let's say it's the CLJ test file to check eval login by so late October. Wow, so Clojure is 2009 and there is 2021, so it's 12 years. Hi Green Coder, nice to meet you. And yeah, so to see, like, it's NS could be not even the first form in here, so we somehow have to figure out this fucking, yeah. And it's not even a symbol. I don't know. But then, of course, we'll be requiring a specific syntax for this plugin to work, which is fine for me because I'm using this syntax, but maybe not fine for other people who might prefer different. I don't know. So some stuff we probably have to make a decision on. But so far, let's try to implement interrupt, right? So what we need here is once we send we need some pending ID. This is interesting, really, because you can send multiple forms. Well, probably should just stop the possibility to send. Okay, so there is a val command and concession equals none, and is this correct Python? I don't know. It's always... No, it's not. Is this correct Python? No, it's not. Let me see. Oops. Python multi-line logic condition. Oh, you need parents? Oh, you can use backslash. Okay, so this would this is nice. So would this work? Okay, this works. Okay, cool. So we have I don't know, con socket. So idea is you cannot send evaluation if there's pending evaluation already, which will save us some implementation. I don't know, burden. Yeah, backslash and braces. Yeah, I got it. Thanks. Okay, and we have to this ID is turning into this. Right, so we send with pending ID, and then when we receive it, somewhere in here. We reset. So if we receive a message with the pending ID that we're waiting for, reset it. We don't care about these messages really, so we don't send pending ID with them, because so like if this didn't complete, I still want plugin to work, and it probably will work. Okay, you know what? I'll probably send for the first one, for cloning session. This is important, so we want pending session. Otherwise, so here we probably don't care really. Okay. If like uploading middleware didn't work, if adding middleware didn't work for some reason, we don't care. Okay, and then we will reset it. Okay, and I'll be able, no matter what we have. You know what? No. Really. You know what? We should move it here, because. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, no. It's slightly different. If ID and ID equals pending ID and status in message and message status and done in message status, con pending ID equals, because for error we still get what do we get? We still get done, right, for errors. I don't remember. I believe we do. Okay, but we'll check. Okay, so this seems like this should disallow. Okay, so we got it. Eval selection command has no attribute. pending ID. Okay, yeah, this I messed up here. Okay, this works, So let me put 3 seconds here, so we do this, and we can't eval anything else. Okay, this looks good. Let's check what happens on exception. This will get done. Cool, so we can do that. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we have pending ID. That's cool. And now for the interrupt eval command, is enabled is actually, for this command it will be the same, but pending ID is not none. All right, and what we're going to send is we're going to send interrupt command. I believe interrupt doesn't require an ID. This requires interrupt ID. Okay, so it's kind of like this. We don't care about those, but we need session. All right, and return status interrupted if the request was defined. Interruption will be attempted. Session ideal if the session is not currently execution. The request interrupt ID mismatch with certain current request using a different ID that specifies the session is ephemeral session. Okay, so this sounds like complicated, but let me add it here. Interrupt current evaluation, and the command is interrupt eval. Interrupt eval. I probably need to namespace those, right? Somehow it doesn't look like the namespace properly. Okay, and the other thing that we're going to do, we're going to go to key bindings and bind, I think Control C actually. Cancel build. Okay. Interrupt eval. Okay, I hope this works. Okay, let's try it out. So I believe our package is fine. Let's do this. Let's do Control C. Wow. Okay, so okay, let me clear this out. Let's try it again. So we do this and we press Control C. So we still get status done, right? For the initial command, not for the interrupt command. I believe for interrupt we get this. Okay, what if the other thing that we want to try? Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't think we should send this, but it still worked. This is weird. Sleep interrupted, and we probably want this. Okay, cool. Okay, this is very good, I think. This is very good. And this is exception, interrupt exception. Okay, yeah, I was saying that probably what I want to test is it might happen that some code is evaluating. Like this check is great, right? But imagine that some code is evaluating and it's like it's still pending, and you send an interrupt command, right? So it is enabled by this point, but by the moment it arrives, the code has finished execution, and now like you'll be trying to interrupt the execution that has already been finished. So this is a possible race condition because Clojure is like truly multi-threaded application, right? So this is what we're going to try, really, right? So let's do this, for example, wait it for it to finish, and then send Control C. So that's what I'm trying to do. Control C, interrupt. Okay, so it's sent and returns session idle. So yeah, no harm done. Okay, so it seems like if this happens, we're still going to do this check, of course. So, but this, if this happens, it looks like there is nothing bad, right? Okay, change it back to 1000. Oh yeah, no, you know what I want to test? That we can't do this. Yeah, it seems to. Okay, interrupt command done. Cool. This is very cool. Send file name and position as well. Yeah, maybe we'll do this one. This is one very quick as well, but let's commit first. Command interrupt evaluation, stage. And the other thing that we changed is we disallow eval when one is pending. Okay. This is not great maybe from user perspective, like how do you say, user experience. Like if I have some thread here, why cannot I eval like this? Maybe I'll change it later, right? But this is the way I believe NREPL is structured. So in order for this to work, you will have to work around NREPL. So maybe you'll have to create a separate session for each evaluation. I don't know if it's expensive or not, or what the deal is. So, I'm not going to, right? Yet. Maybe later. Okay, so let's try starting at line 1. So maybe, yeah, maybe, you know what? Yeah, so what we're going to implement now is this send file name and position visual, especially because like you have it almost like for free, right? So there's no harm in it. So we have column, we have line, and we have file. The path to the file containing code. Clojure profile will be bound to this. Okay, so if and this goes with. So we now have to work with Sublime API. We probably have view. You can eval from view only, right? And return number identifies view. Returns number that identifies the buffer underlying this view. Is primary. File name, the full file name, the file series with the buffer now doesn't exist. Yeah, cool. So this is what we need, right? File name. Okay. Eval. So, okay. The message would be like this. Now, if view file name message dot file equals view file name. I wonder what that means, but anyways, so, and we always can like see we have range here. No, region. We have a region or selection, right? And we have begin, right? So begin is returns the minimum of NAB, and this is position, right? So what we now have to figure out, there must be some way to convert it into okay, so the stack point and row call. So this is what we need, row call probably. Calculates the zero-based line and column numbers on the point. Column numbers return as number of Unicode characters. Okay. We probably need this. I don't know, like it's not clear for me, right? So okay, now line column equals this, I mean, it all depends on like what Clojure itself uses. Like this can count Unicode characters, UTF-8. I doubt it UTF-8, but maybe UTF-16. They're actually like, yeah, the two. It's probably UTF-16. Okay, but anyways, we'll check it. I think. Okay, and this one we need region. Right. And we need to supply it as line and column. Yes, that's simple. Column. So this should work, right? Let's see. No, something didn't work. Row call UTF-16 is not defined. Yeah, because like it's supposed to be called on the view, right? It's view? Yeah, it's view. Of course, it's not defined. Okay, now what? Oops. Send pressing Y required position argument message. Yeah, right. I forgot. I forgot to send the actual message. Okay, so let's see. Starting at line 54, which is not correct, right? Maybe what I want to say. This is like, oh yeah, because line starts with 1 and index is 0 based. So I guess we do that. Okay, and we also need columns reported somewhere. I don't remember where it is, like, but I believe something reports should report columns as well, right? So let's say what would happen with this? Okay, let's go to Clojure and test it over here, right? Yeah, it doesn't report lines specifically, but we fixed column, right? So we fixed line, sorry, not column. Okay, this is good, and let's see what file we're in. That seems to use the correct file. Cool. This might be like masking our, because we don't print the root cause, right? So it might be masking something. So what if I do this instead? And revalidate and this. So now it should print, okay, yeah. Compile exception, things are all compiling at, compile syntax check, so the line is 50, the column is 0. Wait, what? It annoys me that there is no way to clear this, actually. But what can you do? Okay, we can do what, you know what we can do? We can do this. Okay, and let's try to call it again. Okay, so there's just simple compile exception. There's a file. So the column number is wrong. Right. The line number is correct, but it says that defen is has an error, but it should be unresolved symbol instead. Okay, Could we use this information somehow? I don't know. But if we eval something like this is perfectly normal function, right? And this has this unresolved symbol. And if you eval two of them, this might be useful really. So line 53, column 1. Oh, this is interesting. This column is like wrong, right? Okay, let me eval this one. Yeah, I don't know about the columns, so it doesn't seem to work really. And what I wanted to check is something like, so say we have something like this, right? And then we do something like this. So this is an error, right? Index 33, okay? This looks correct to me. And we have, yeah, we don't have any information here. Oh my god, yeah, this is fucked up. Okay, so let's return our root cause. It seems it's doing... Okay, see, this looks kind of correct. So if we column 1, so I probably should plus 1 here as well. Let's do index 33. Okay. It's one off. But anyway, so what I'm going to check is we're going to go to Tonskimi and we're going to find my post about emoji. Yeah, it's here. So, because of course, like, I write those posts just to to remember stuff, because I need to use this. So we're going to find some really long sequence like this, right? And we're going to put it here, okay? So now let's see. It says near index 40. Okay, what the fuck? I guess Sublime reports indexes like wrong as well. Alright, so this is count. It's wrong. Okay, but anyways, let's try something simpler. Like, this is fairly new. Let's try this guy, for example. Okay, let's try this. No, it's two indexes. Okay, so but anyways, so you see there's 43. Oops. So it says near 42. Maybe we should subtract one. I don't know. It's index 42. Oh. It seems to ignore column really. Yeah, it completely ignores columns. So no matter what I try, I'm probably going to try this, because the 1 based, so when you look here, it's not 0 based but 1 based, so I probably want that, but anyways, it completely ignores it. But it's good that it kind of uses the same way to count characters. It's probably TF16, the same as Java does. So like, so that's good, right? Okay, so we did that. Hopefully at some point those will be useful. I mostly did it because it was easy to do, right? Set file name, position as well. Yeah, so this is what we did. Oops, sorry. Let's commit. Yay. So our plugin is taking shape, I would say. I would say. And the real problem for me right now is this identify namespace or file. Okay, this is going to be a real problem, and we need to deal with it somehow. So let's take a short break. I'm gonna put my kettle on and make some tea, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. And we are back. Let me see what happened with the sound. We have multi-output device. We had Yeti. But I believe music stopped, right? Yes, it did. Let's see if it will catch up. It didn't, of course. Let's click here. Still doesn't. What the fuck? Okay. Okay, let's see what's going on with the stream. It seems to work. Music seems to work. Mic seems to work. So hopefully all will be good. All will be good. We have 10 viewers. Thank you for coming on a short notice. Okay, so what we're going to do? What we're going to do is we need to detect namespaces. Like, this is the last thing before this becomes useful. Once we have this is like super useful. It is useful right now. You just have to go and manually evaluate like namespace form, which is a little bit more than I'm willing to do. But once we have this, it will be super useful. Okay, so what I'm thinking is we are not going to write Clojure parser right now, although this might be an option in the future, but I suspect parsing Clojure might be slow in Python. Okay, so yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. I mean, Clojure is not hard language to parse, right? You can write parser pretty quickly. There's not much stuff going on. And I know this because I wrote like syntax grammar for Clojure. So what we are going to do instead, we're going to rely on the parse tree that already like happened with this, with syntax highlighting, right? So yeah, we are going to do the same thing that Kane did. We're going to rely on syntax, right? So, and there's, okay, so let's see. This is kind of bad, right? Wait. Okay, what if I do... No. Yeah, this is the default default syntax that comes with Clojure is like almost useless, right? It doesn't identify symbols. It doesn't identify functions. Entity name function Clojure. Okay, but it doesn't identify like namespaces, which is just sad. Let's go. Where's my, yeah, it's here. Okay, mine does, and I believe, oops, entity name Clojure. Okay, so, okay, yeah, and maybe for release it's, so there are two options really. We can do the same thing that Tutkain did and marry the syntax highlighting and plugin REPL, right? Or we can, yeah, okay, but for now, since I'm using it, yeah, we're going with it. So let's figure out how to find scope in the view, right? Scope. Returns the extent of the syntax scope name assigned to the characters again. Point. Match selector. Check the selector against the scope and again point. Remember the match scope selector match selector against score. Okay, so find all regions in the file, matching the given selector, returning them as a list. Now this is probably what we want. We don't want all, but we probably want first, right? So let's try and go here. Actually, we can do like, okay, so what we need is view. This is our view. So right now we're going to do this. this is our view, right? And we're going to do view find by selector, and selector is going to be entity.name. Okay, 169, y94, proof, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We probably found all 4. Okay, basically the namespace is the first entity name. Okay, so let's see. Is it different? Meta definition closure, source closure C, source symbol, name closure. We don't distinguish between namespace and functions, right? For some reason. For no reason. Okay, but kind of we can meta parents. Okay, so okay, let me try to write a function that will going to try to identify current namespace. So we're going to implement it as a command, right? Figure namespace. Okay. Get namespace command. Okay, so the from it's going. What I'm writing is going to be this, and we're going to enable it. It doesn't really matter how we enable it. We have this return pass, get namespace. So let's go here. This is not going to be like a real command, really. You know what? Let's not do that. Let's just do it here, because we don't need a real command, right? Okay, so okay, what we need is self view equals self.view first what happens if I do something like this? Is it none? It's this out of range. Find by selector. Okay, so what we need is view find by selector. Selector is entity name. Names, so we call it names. If names and when names more than one. So if we have at least one name, we take this, and this is a region, right? So it's like from to. We can get actually code. We can get let's rename it like this. So this is our name potentially, right? So let's put it print like this, right? Let's go here, let's show the console, let's call interrupt. Yeah, so you see, it kind of works. It kind of works. The problem is though, of course, let's actually create a folder. Test, and I'm kind of annoyed that you cannot drag and drop files in here. It's let's name it forms. Let's create something like this. We call it simple namespace.clj, right? And what we do else is we do complex. Let's rename this nice, really. Okay, so complex is going to be this, and we're going to do all this, right? Move it here. Finesse, string join, finesse, okay, so kind of like that, okay? So let's call Ctrl+C here, and to see the namespace it returns is F, which is not, of course, it finds this, right? Which is not what we want, but so you see in here you have method.parents, and this is what we are going to utilize, I think. Like Sublime text APIs are like new to me, so I'm guessing most of the time. But yeah. So yeah, so see, extract scope, use extent of the single scope's name assigned to the character. So this is what we want to do, right? So we want to extract scope. Extract scope. Let's go here. Scope equals view extract scope first region begin, right? So name scope and scope is going to be use substance scope. Okay, so let's do this. Scope F. Oh no, wait, what? Returns the extent of the syntax scope name assigned to the character. What do you mean extent? No. Manage selector, change selector against the scope at a given point, returning a ball. Score, find. So what we actually want is scope, style for scope, exception scope, blah blah blah. Syntax, information about syntax. I don't need that. On query completions. I don't know what that is. Show scope name. Find syntax by scope. Return the syntax, if any, with any code string base scope specified. Okay. Score selector. When the selector gets the score. Yeah, this is not what we need, but meta info, return data from preference, science and extract scope. Okay, yeah, so it looks like what we're going to do is slightly different. Okay, for region int meta parents, if region we click here, I think there's cover contains, right? If region contains first region, let's call it name region actually. Okay, so presumably this, right? Ctrl+C. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, the result we get is we take a name and then we find the topmost form that contains this name. This is actually useful because we could use that for eval topmost form as well. So yeah, kind of useful. Okay, and oops. Okay, so we're going to use that, and basically our namespace is if view substring. So what we're going to do is region begin plus 3 equals ns. So what we know is that namespace declaration form probably starts with ns. Like technically you can put spaces in here. You can probably put commas in here as well, but probably nothing else, right? Okay, so okay, let's do this region. Don't remember, but I want to go probably here. At the beginning of sync, match the real expression pattern, turn corresponding match object. If okay, so I probably need if re match pattern and then string, and our pattern is going to be opening parent. I think we need to use this opening parent, either white space or comma star and ns, and probably either white space comma or slash n, right? So it has to be separate. You're gonna do this, right? I wonder if it's multi-line. No. Maybe something like this, okay. Technically, it could be... Well, you know what? We have /s, right? And... what is /s? Space /r/n/v, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, we're probably okay with /s and with comma. So one of those, right? And we have star of those. We have our namespace, okay? So this feels like, let's go, no, let's go, okay, now that doesn't work. Okay, it stopped working, oh my god. It doesn't work if I put space in here, why? But it does work if I do this. Right, and it doesn't work if I put something in here. Okay, so something is wrong. I probably messed up something. The comma doesn't have any special meaning, right? Okay, so our most complex case is going to be kind of like that. So let's see, the region is this. Ah, it doesn't work because I didn't detect this in my syntax. Okay, okay. Well, fair enough, game. Well, yes. We probably need to fix syntax. Okay, but anyways, region is not... Okay, we are probably going to need to write a function top most form. This is not actually going to work always. Because, see, yeah, topmost form is probably but this is fine by us. Okay, so we're going to need a view here, and we're going to need position. Okay, and what we're going to do is this region in blah blah blah. I think it's called point in Sublime text. Return region. Okay, so this is our topmost form method. Okay, I'm going to use it in under other occasion, but for now. Okay, what are you going to do? Okay, let's rewrite this one. Okay, so we find entity names. We actually what we are going to do is we need so let's write a function that calculates namespace view point, and we're using point as well because technically in Clojure you can have, let's do this actually. Technically in Clojure you can have a file like this, and this will be like, what we want to do is, for example, I want to eval this code, which means that we want to go which we're supposed to be evaluated in this namespace, and in this case we should use this namespace, right? So it depends on a point where we stand, and we want to find latest namespace declaration that is before specified position, kind of. Okay, so let's say multiple analysis. Yeah, so all interesting tests actually. Sean Groove, hi! Surprised I have worked on Clojure to Python compiler before. Working on Sublime plugin. Seems out of character for me. No, I haven't worked on Clojure to Python compiler. I worked on syntax highlighter for Sublime, because the highlighter that comes with Sublime is terrible, and I had to write my own. There was no option. I showed it on previous stream, I think. Yeah, it's called Sublime Clojure. I haven't published it, but I think I should, because I've been using it for a long time, and it's certainly useful. It's complete, more or less. Yeah, but so idea this is default compiler, and it doesn't handle lots of edge cases, right? So it's even not even close. And this is mine. Mine kind of handles those. I have not worked on Clojure Python compiler. No, I just seriously considered writing like a parser for Clojure in Python, so I don't have to rely on syntax definitions. But seems like it's a lot of work, and probably performance would suck. So probably syntax parsing, which is like works inside Sublime and uses C++ or whatever, it's probably faster. So I want to, but no good reason yet. Namespace. Okay, let's try to do that. So what we're going to do is for region in this, right? If region and lesser or equal than point, the only situation, like we only consider names defined before, right? Kind of like this, and so if this form starts with and this would be and what we need if it starts as a namespace, we save it. Right? And then we exit early, kind of like that. Okay. So what we're going to do here is remove this one, and we're going to test it with probably there is some way to do selection, right? View selection here. Print namespace view selections here, kind of like this. So let's open console, none, topmost form, reference before assignment. Okay, so just call it form, I don't know. So in this case we get second, which is good. Second, first, none. Okay, seems to work. It wasn't hard, right? It was pretty straightforward. I hope performance would be okay. Actually, you know what? We do have Clojure core in here, right? So let's see. Seems to work. Not in the end though. So in the end it takes some time. Yeah, in the end it takes some time, which is unfortunate. Should we cache it somehow? I don't know. Let's see how fast it's here. Oops. It's faster, right? Okay, good enough for me. Good enough. We're trying to get it out as fast as possible. So let's move those somewhere before comments really start. Like here. Let's restore this. Don't need that, right? You don't need that either. Restore this. Okay, so now what we're going to do, like in eval, remember there is, you can send ns here, right? So basically what we're supposed to do is if ns equals namespace region begin region begin if ns equals return assign in if. Yeah, this is what I am like would love to have, like if something equals something, and like I mean here, right? So I would love to write something like this because I only need ns inside this if. If you know how to do that. I don't think this is what. Yeah, this I know. Sign, great. What the fuck? This is like some learning something. No, okay. Whatever, but like if we were in Clojure, I could write my own macro and have this. Unfortunately, we are not in Clojure, so we'll have to deal with what we have. All right. Right. Let's see if it works. Right, it should work actually. So we go to simple. Yep, yeah, it's already broke somehow. Namespace not found. Done error. And why the heck? Okay, this is interesting. So this is Okay. So this is a way for evaluation to another way for evaluation to finish. So let's say we do this, right? And then do this. And we see, like we say, when we send this, we send actually namespace ABC. This is like, this is okay. You see, this is still ABC, and this is still. So I switch between files, and when I define like functions like this, they are defined in the namespace that this file belongs to, and that's exactly what we want, right? So this is the thing that I was talking about. Yeah, that's the one we don't need. So let's try multiple namespaces, okay? And we probably need to revolve this. Second one, first one. Okay, in this case, like probably what we want. Oh, you know what? This is what we want actually. If you can't find namespace, we better use user explicitly instead of relying on the last remembered namespace. Okay. Even though it means that. Oops. Maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe it is a good idea. I don't know. Let's try it. Kind of like that. Okay, kind of works, right? Let's identify namespace of a file, which is all cool. Hopefully it works. As you remember, we have to handle special case. No. So error status we see if we try to run something in namespace that hasn't been defined yet. So in this case it was defined like namespace persisted in Clojure, right? And so even if we reconnect, it doesn't matter, they still it still exists, right? So it works. But if we stop here, I said if we stop here, oh my god. There's no way to stop it now. because I, okay. Is there a way to, like, you know, to limit some comments to some syntax? Wait, what? I can have so technically, like if I take this and I go index, just settings, right? Not KB index. But anyways, yeah. So, but the idea is like if you, oops, if you start terminus new Clojure instance, for example, if I go here and try to evaluate this, it will let's actually try to do this, right? So I'm not connected. Let's try to evaluate this. So you see we have pending here. We should see error instead, because we tried to send this form without evaluating file first. In your Clojure app, it would probably not be a problem, because most of your code will be loaded on when application starts. In our case, we don't load the code from like test folder right first. So there's a problem, but the problem is not that there's error, but the problem is that we don't display this error, and this is because, unfortunately, the error is reported to us as status, like extra status, right? Which is kind of strange, but we'll have to deal with it. Code with bugs. Daro. Hi, welcome. I'm actually going to wrap this up. I have a meeting in 10 minutes, so I'll probably stop this. But let me just say we did lots of very good progress, I think. We have interrupt, we have file position, we have namespaces. So I think it should be already very useful, right? Already very useful, and probably I want this limit to be changed. I probably want the limit. So let's say I put 10. How many characters in a line do you see? Like 300 probably, right? Okay, let's put 300 here. I don't know. Seems fair enough. But the idea is just so that it is limited by reasonable number. So that infinite sequences or very long responses don't blow this up. We also probably want to some indications that the response was truncated. So let's put it in README as well. Yeah, but this is like just some quality of life improvements. The core functionality is here, and I see it already be super useful. Like, why not, right? And I believe it makes experience working, should make experience working with Clojure much more pleasant. Basically, what I recreated is light table, right? I used to use light table, but stopped because it was very slow. It was slow, okay, and for typing because it's implemented Clojure script. And the other thing, it stopped. Its development stopped for it, and it wasn't able to keep up with new improvements in changes in Clojure and Clojure script especially. So yeah, I have to drop it eventually, but I like the way it worked, and the way it worked, it was exactly like this. It like you eval code and code, you see the results in line, which is pretty damn good, I think. So yeah, and now I have it. Like I can start using this right now, right? I don't need really. I'll probably polish it a little bit. Probably this one and this one. These two are important, kind of. This one for productizing, right? This is important. This is polish. This is polish. Okay, let's put a category polish. This for polish, right? Core functions. Kind of like this. So yeah, it's already pretty damn useful, I think. So, slightly more, maybe one more session to cover those. Then productizing, writing README, publishing it on package control, and we are golden. I think we would be ready to conquer the world. Okay, anyways, thank you for joining me. I hope it was useful, interesting, or whatever. Yeah, bye bye.